Okay, we started recording. We're in the hangar. We're in X-Plane 12.4.3, release candidate 1. When I started this first time, I didn't have extreme beyond eye tracking turned on, so this was grayed out. So we're all good. We're in the cockpit, trying to myself kind of situated. That hides the yoke. I think I'm in the right place. Yep, good enough. As long as when I pull the yoke all the way back, I can feel it on my belly, then we're all good. So, okay. So in X-Plane, I was in Microsoft Flight Simulator earlier. I made a video that I'm going to make it unlisted and get it to the developer, Microsoft Flight Simulator developer for VR. And quite a few things I found that just aren't as don't work as well with VR controllers. So I use force feedback rudder pedals and a yoke, and I use VR controllers and some voice commands for other VR interactions. One big difference that I'm seeing right now, and I'm sitting in about the same place. Yeah, pretty close. The letters on this G1000 are unbelievably different. Much, much more clear. I mean, much, much more clear. I don't know why this is true. Like this, all this text is readable. And I was in the same place in a G1000, Cessna 172 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And all of this text is way more readable. I'm using the same headset. I'm about the same distance from the from here. Cause I can barely see my controllers, and that's about where I want. So I want this, the instrument panel. I want it just in front of my desk. So that's why I put my controllers against my desk. So I might be the slightest bit closer, but it's not going to make that big a difference. That is a huge difference. That is amazing. On to what I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to label this video VR controllers. So if I grab this controller, pull down on the trigger, when I move my controller in and out, that is a very, very, very smooth motion. And I'm just running my controller in and out. So it basically follows my controller. I do the same thing with the mixture. It follows it in and out. And I grab the trim wheel. So if I grab that nub right there and move it down, it tracks my controller. You can see that indicator barely moved. That allows me to easily trim an airplane while I'm flying. I can just trim it the littlest amount. So I'm going to grab the nub on the bottom and move it up. So you can see I can slowly move, and I'm going to take that nub that was at the bottom and put it at the top. That's how it should work. That is a proper proper VR controller. So we go the fuel selector, grab it, rotate, turn. So we're gonna the ignition switch. So I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna rotate my controller. That was one position. Second position. Third position. Start. I can easily go to any position I want. In X-Plane, both controllers are live. So I can do a proper start of a Cessna 172. Turn power on. Turn the beacon on. My yoke's in my way just a little bit. So we got the beacon on. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on. Give it. Look for fuel flow. There we go. Back to cutoff. Fuel pump off. So I'm going to rotate. I'm going to rotate until start. While I'm holding the starter starting, I'm going to push the mixture in. Proper startup procedure for a G1 for a Cessna 172 SP. Rotate, 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 start. Mixture in. The plane started. If both controllers aren't live at the same time, you cannot do that start procedure. You basically what you have to do is throw the mixture all the way forward and leave it full rich, which is not. That's not how I was taught to start an SP 172. So plane started. Over to the flap. So move it down. Move it down. For some reason, it doesn't have steps. So you would think there's like notches here that it should go to, but that doesn't seem to be simulated. So that's fine. It just okay. Turn taxi light on. Oops, yep, taxi light on. Okay, and we will turn on the avionics. Where are we at? Oops, need a little more power. But what I do like is when it highlights, I feel a little, just the slightest rumble in my controller, my VR controller. So I can tell I'm on the throttle. Should be, I'm on the mixture. I can feel that. I can't feel, there's no difference between them, but I can tell when I'm on a control that can be controlled. So yeah. So pull this back a little bit. Should be about 730. Yeah. So once again, I can grab this throttle, just move it in, just the slightest amount. So that's like 1070. So if I grab it, pull it back a little bit. So I moved it down 20 RPM. Moved in a little bit. So that was about 40. A lot of times, like when I'm trimming the airplane, I'm going to be pulling back on the yoke, pull back on the yoke, and then I'm going to grab the trim wheel and just move it the slightest bit to relieve the pressure. That's it. So I'm not moving this the trim wheel very much at all, and but I have to have really good control. We're moving it this slowly. You can see how slow the nubs are moving. I move it up, move it down. You can see how slowly, so how fine an adjustment I can make in trim using a VR controller. Because that's how I fly. I mean, I fly in autopilot quite a bit, but when I get close to an airport, probably 10 nautical miles out, I switch to hand control. And what it allows me to do is go from a cruise of, I don't know, between 90, 100, 110 knots to probably 90 knots or less. Trying to get slowed down for a downwind leg of, we'll say 80 knots, maybe 85. So how do I do that? I just pull back on the yoke and trim the pressure off until the plane is pitched a little bit nose up. And when it's that way, then it loses airspeed. And not a lot, just 10 knots, 20 knots, something like that. And then it's set up for a downwind. So, because you want to get it in the on the downwind leg, especially when you're getting a beam of the numbers, you want to be at a speed where you can put the first notch of flaps on. So that's how I do it. And I'm hand flying it from the time probably 10 nautical miles out until I land, and then some. I hand fly it. So first time I've going to spend any time in R1. R1 got released when I was at Flight Sim Expo. So this first time I've been back in it, and or first time I've been in it actually, and kind of like what I see. There's a little bit of shimmering going on, but it's not terrible. I'm looking at this light pole here, and it's not bad. A little bit shimmering going on with light pole. A little bit shimmering on the edges, on the top ridge there of the hangar. Just a little bit going on, but not bad. Looks pretty good actually. So. Okay, so I think I covered what I wanted to show. Just the difference between how VR controllers act in X-Plane versus Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the difference in how the cockpits look, I never realized like how different they are. And it's funny because when I look at the G1000, this is quite interesting. When I look at that G1000 in X-Plane, there is a space between the COM1 and COM2, and the letters are quite small. In Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, those numbers are larger. And there's almost no space between the COM 1 and COM 2. But the actual numbers are less readable using the same VR headset. I find that interesting. But it all follows because this AP, FD, HD, HDG, ALT, this is all very, very readable. That's not the same in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. That's just not the same. So, and these are just observations. I like my cockpit to be clear, and I can't imagine what it would look like in a, let's say, a lesser res headset. In here, I mean, it looks quite nice, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't. You would think if you made the font larger, it would be more readable. But like I said, I mean, like this white text here on the gray background, that's all readable. It's like this here. Yeah, I mean, like, I can read every letter on this placard. Every one. Yeah, every one of these letters, I can discern one to the next. Everyone, not some, everyone. So that's interesting. That's interesting. And I look at everything through a VR lens because it's what I enjoy. But it's amazing how different they are. It's amazing how different they are. I'm gonna have to try to look with a couple of different aircraft. And another thing that I was surprised. I loaded the default my home airport, KERI. I loaded up the default in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It was unrecognizable. I couldn't. It was just like some buildings got dropped in there. Nothing even close to what real life is. And I didn't do the original layout, but I have help with this. But this is quite realistic as to if you're sitting here in an airplane and you're looking at the hangars, this is quite realistic to what you'll see. So the flight school's over there. There's a big hangar here, you know, that can probably hold 2 or 3 GA aircraft in it. So, but this is realistic. This is what it looks like. So, clouds are looking quite nice today. I know it's partly cloudy at home here, so yeah, looks quite nice. So, alrighty, yeah. I think I'll wrap this guy up. Kind of did what I wanted to do, rambled a bit, but it's kind of normal for me. I think I'll shut her down, so let's turn off the avionics. Go back to taxi beacon. Okay.